Okay, how do I start off with this? Well, how do I say this? It's been about 2 years, I think, since we met. I think has it?
Yeah, I think so.
When you did your very first EDM performance with Newport with your Gravity, and I had a chance to cameo you in my little interview with him in that cafe. How can I forget? But
That was so awesome. Yeah, that was my first ever EDM vocal performance. That was so cool that you were there for that.
yes, and to witness it and just know that was like your first like true EDM moment, I would say like one of the big true EDM moments. And now for you to like do that, and now I think 2 years later, the the evolution, the growth of Casey Cook has just pretty much skyrocketed to a point where I think all of us are not only just insanely happy, proud that you have blessed us with your incredible talent, writing and vocal talent in every which way of the word. No, you have pretty much shown everybody that I can happily say this. Casey Cook, you are one of those people who I feel like you are now a rising inspiration to so many incredible people out there to not only write songs and sing songs and create songs of their own, but to be a female while doing it is nothing short of incredible. And I think a lot of us owes you a debt of gratitude and just love for everything that you do and everything you created. So, out
Oh
of
my
all
God.
of them in the world, I know I can't really represent every single one of them because I wish I can like have all of them just say how much you mean to them, how much your music means to them, both collaboration and original. But here I am saying thank you, just thank you, thank you, thank you for
Oh,
just existing and blessing us with who you are.
I can't even tell you how much that means to me because as you know, this industry is gruesome and it means a lot coming from somebody who appreciates music and talent and I've just always wanted to be that. I've wanted to be that for so many people to just let them know that it's possible and to go after your dreams and your goals, but to impact people in the process. So hearing that just means the world. So thank you so much.
No, just thank you. Saying that is like it's the least I can do. But I'll start off with this because, like you said, the music industry can obviously be gruesome. You would know because you had a toe in the water. I mean, hello, 2019, one of your biggest years performing in NBC Songland. Oh my goodness. However, I feel like that wasn't like the start of Casey Cook because you were grinding ever since before that opportunity came at your door. How long have you been like wanting to be a songwriter and like create songs and be part of like projects like that? I feel like it started like
Um,
around like I believe I'm not mistaken, 2014 to 2013 at the least.
Absolutely. Yeah, I moved to Los Angeles. I came here for my last semester of school in 2015. So I would honestly say 2014 is when I started kind of writing songs, and 2015 is when I took it seriously, and 2016 is where I dove headfirst into sessions with anyone that I could in Los Angeles and just making my way through the town and the genres and figuring out what works and what doesn't and seeing what sticks. And yeah, that's pretty much how
So
it.
I was so I was kind of on the money because
Yeah.
September 2014 was where like okay you're finally starting to really like step out of there. October was when your song was put in Abbey Road Studios. That was pretty dang incredible,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just wanted to say how do I say this? I don't know what particular exact date it was, but we're in 2024. Look at your calendar because if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, we are nearing 10 years of Casey Cook. 10 years of you literally starting to put yourself out there in the industry, music, EDM wise. I have to ask, did you ever think you'd be doing this or like really taking it seriously? Like, you said, took it seriously in 2015, but I always talk about the beginning and how things start out for an artist. So, you think you will be doing 10 years of Casey Cook?
Yeah, I think that would probably be 2025, 2026 would be officially 10 years.
Officially.
Yeah, officially. Yeah, I mean, you just kind of you just kind of figure it out as you go. I tried a lot of different styles. I released as an artist starting out. I worked with different producers on my own artist projects. I realized that I wasn't sure what that sound was, and I had always been a huge fan of the EDM community. I went to tons of shows and music festivals in my growing up years, and I was so infatuated by the community and the energy and the type of music that was being put out there that I wanted to be a part of it. And I told myself that was my goal. I was going to do that. And so I wrote for a lot of different people in the scene and had, my cuts and all that, which was great, but I wanted to be the vocalist on it. And so once I made that distinction. Actually, it was in 2020 that I had to learn how to vocal produce because, we couldn't be with people.
Right.
So I quickly realized I need to learn this skill and it's only going to excel me further. So that's what I did. And 3 years later, or 4 years later now, I just released my first Splice pack, which is really cool.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And I have to ask about that as well. How did it feel to release like your very first vocal pack on something as incredible as Splice? Because we see a lot of vocalists like they'll try to do that type of thing as well. I believe Cara even like did it herself, and so freaking proud of her and her evolution in her music industry. But how did it feel to release your very first pack on Splice?
Incredible. Incredible. I've wanted to do this for a long time, for years, and it just didn't work out. It didn't align. It's really all about the timing, and you can't get you can't get down on yourself just because something doesn't happen right away. You have to let the evolution of yourself develop and let it align when it's supposed to. And it did. And I think it's the perfect time because I have a lot of people, reaching out to me to work, and I just think this is gonna open more doors for creativity and what's to come. And I just feel really great about it. And I feel really great about the loops that are there because they're me. They're truly an extension of me, which is really cool to hear.
That is amazing, and I definitely know that that Splice pack, that vocal pack, is gonna be used to its fullest to really help unlock some doors, not only for you but for everyone else who wants to add certain feelings, certain emotions to their music, and using your voice in that way is gonna really ignite that. We hear it all the time in a lot of your songs, so to bring that to the people, that will be amazing to witness. And I can't wait to see what people will create. So yes, hopefully people will
Dude,
tag you. They will send to you like, no, this is what I created using your pack. That will be amazing to witness. That's incredible. I give you my congratulations on that pack, but it's also gotta give you congratulations on this as well. Your recent release in collaboration with BLANKE, Crashing Hard, that just released today. How? Oh, please tell me how. Well, I kind of can guess how because you also work with people like WOOLI and other amazing people as well within the Ophelia Records industry. So, how did it feel to work with someone like BLANKE?
honestly, it was awesome working with BLANKE. We had a really easy back and forth connection on the song. He was just amazing in putting it together with his melodic style. I was really happy to bring BLANKE back into the melodic world with Crashing Hard. But yeah, it was really awesome. He was fine-tuning everything as I was, letting him know what I thought about what he was doing, and it was seamless. It was really seamless. And to be honest, he was really incredible in letting me tell the story because it was such a personal story that I wrote this song about. And he was really cool about letting me really share that moment.
That is amazing to hear. And if you want to give a bit of insight within the story of Crashing Hard, I mean, I can make certain guesses, but best to hear from the vocalist mouth. What is like the emotion or the vibe you're trying to strike at with Crashing Hard?
So Crashing Hard was written the day before I left LA to fly home to Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
I found out that my dad didn't have a lot of time left. And so it was that in between of feeling incredibly sad that something was ending. But at the same time, I met my my boyfriend, who I didn't know was going to be my boyfriend at the time, but he was exactly what I needed at the right time. And I think knowing the sadness made the happiness that much stronger. And so it's a song of its extremes. And basically, it's just about having that person to hold you through those really, really hard times when nothing feels right, but this does.
Right, and I really do give my condolences to the passing of your father, and I know he was definitely a huge, huge impact on your life and your career. I mean, throughout a lot of your IG posts, you put up quotes and in things he would say that like inspired you to want to keep going. Like I still remember when he said like, no, seize the moment, or like, no, take those opportunities, because if you missed it or you just like push it aside, you never know what you would have had, or what you would have or what you would have possibly achieved. And I totally agree with that wholeheartedly. And I will also say this as well: did something like that song, like kind of like I see, hearing the story of it, I see as almost like Judgment's 2.0, because if not mistaken, the story of that was also similar. I'm not trying to say like, no, like, oh, this, yeah, I gotta make songs about, people passing away. No, but it seems like it's all about the people that was around you, and that is really like your foundation. That's like the people that keep you anchored in that, and you want to sing their praises, because is that really like something that really helps out a lot when it comes to like going through those type of feelings, like making something for them, no matter where they are. I bet, let's be honest, your father, your best friend, mentioned in Judgment, they're smiling down you and saying like, I'm so happy that someone like you is representing me in the best way possible. Is that a way to like obviously cope with the feeling?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you go through life, and if you learn something and you want to share it, the best thing you can do is put it in music, because you can share it with the world. And I feel lucky that I was given this gift of my voice, and I've crafted, or I've learned songwriting because I wanted to be able to share these stories and maybe just change a perspective on someone else.
Exactly. And believe me, your songs not only in Songland with Judgments, and of course this brand new song with BLANKE, Crashing Hard, it's definitely, I have a feeling with you and your voice and your writing, it's gonna definitely turn some gears, make people really appreciate what they have, and the people that are around them, be grateful of what they have, because for a lot of people in the world, they're going through a whole lot worse. And I feel like we should like really cherish people that are around us, and the appreciation of life, and like us being on this earth. That is something to be grateful for every single day. I mean, not trying to segue into my birthday, but it's that's kind that's, I'm segueing.
Today?
It's not today, it's tomorrow. That's
Oh,
why I that's
happy
why
birthday.
thank you. That's why I kind of doing this. I'm 24 going on 25, and oh, I feel what makes me very upset is that I talk to some people and they're like, I feel so old, or I feel like I've hit the peak or of my life. But for someone like me, I'm 24 going on 25. I've done a lot. I'm grateful of what I've done so far, but that's like almost a quarter of my lifetime here. I have so much more to do and so much more I want to experience in life. So to hear someone tell me that when they're 30 years old is like, are you kidding me? 30 and you still feel old. 40 and you still feel old. 50 and you still feel old. You have so much more ahead of you that you can accomplish, and it's all about, I feel like it's all comes down to the mindset of it all. And like,
It's all mindset.
right.
It all is. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So so for me, my mindset is this: yes, life is short, but it's not. But it doesn't mean that life is short.
Right.
It's you still have so much more to do, and so many people you can meet, so many things you can experience, and it's all about being grateful for it. So some people go through it different ways. For me, it's through music. For you, it's also through music, but also creating music, and it's your music that is saving lives, helping people out, and really giving people joy in their hearts. And you have touched me in ways I cannot describe through your music, through your art. And so something tells me you're doing some good on here. And it would just absolutely destroy me if like something happened, you stopped, or you just didn't, or you thought it wasn't worth it, I'm here to tell you, you are most definitely worth it.
Thank
Never
you
forget that.
Thank you.
And so many artists can, I believe, can say the same thing. Not just, I believe, BLANKE, but also Midnight Kids, Friendzone, Yetep, Sabaya, Feeney, Neo, Denny Olsen, Brikei, Kodiko, Shall I Go On? So many of these incredible songs that absolutely shot you to the EDM spotlight. And it's, I can't, I have nothing but just, like, just looking at, with just, like, almost like sparkly eyes and, like, this woman's making it, and I cannot be any more proud. But I know the one song that definitely kind of shot you to that spectrum, I gotta ask, because this has been renditioned a few times here and there by a lot of people, but the song with WOOLI, Crazy. I'm sorry, when I saw you at the cafe, I said to myself, oh my god, I'm so happy to start singing that song, because that's how much it meant to me. How, please tell me, how did you work and collaborate with something as incredible as WOOLI?
So, when was that? That was 2019?
That was around 2021, I believe. I still remember me
2021.
Yes, 2021, seeing that song being performed at Nocturnal Wonderland for the first time in front of a huge audience, and just explain it. What's the story?
Yes. Well, as you know, the music industry is full of surprises, and I got paired with WOOLI back in, I guess, 2020 when I was doing my own vocal production, and I was working with somebody who was working with them and with Kodeko, actually. And so Kodeko was a part of it, and then WOOLI was a part of it, and there was, it got pitched around to some other people, but ended up being with WOOLI and Kodeko. And it was really cool because Kodeko brought this beautiful, melodic instrumental piece and component that WOOLI just smashed. And it was just a really great combination of the two, with the contrast of, the dark, heavy, but with the melodic from Kodeko. And I think, obviously WOOLI put in his melodic influences as well. And it was just a match. It was just a full match.
And ever since Crazy, it then led to, of course, Sad Reality with Kodeko.
Yes.
You just had to make something with him because, yes, both of them very incredible producers, but there's something about that Kodeko. He just adds something incredible to his musical production. Had the artist speak to him last year, and it was absolutely freaking incredible. So
he's incredible. Very, very, very talented guy.
Yes, and now I have to ask this as well because it seems like you said, you've been pretty much, even though you were all the way at the top when it comes to the industry, you still hit dabble in almost every single area you can think of, writing songs, singing on songs, and also, if I may say, even I was gonna say producing songs, but actually production, because you did work on vocal production in 2020 when we were sadly in the pandemic. I need to know, is there any area that you really enjoy is a bit easier for you? Because obviously writing a song, producing stuff, and even singing is not an easy thing to do for anyone to do. But for someone like you who seemingly knows how to do it with ease, is there any roads that that's the easiest for you and that you pretty much are comfortable with, or is there another?
Probably singing. Which that's a bit of a surprise to me, because for someone like you and seeing how the evolution of Casey Cook came to be, it seems like writing is a strong suit for you when it comes to songs. So, well, singing, of course, why write when we can just sing? But what is about singing that really moves you so more than writing? I think it's probably, I've been singing my entire life. I did a bunch of musical theaters growing up, and throughout, childhood into high school. Where I stopped was college, but I still continued singing in college. I was in choirs throughout my life. And so singing has just been second nature to me. I've, taken vocal lessons when I was younger and took a lot of years of that. So it's just built in me. It's truly just second nature. The writing aspect, I kind of developed along the way. I didn't know that I was writing songs until I realized I was writing songs later on and what those terms were and all of that. I kind of just figured it out as I went. I took a few classes, but it's always been very, comes to me, very instinctual. And when I sit down and write, or even if I have an instrumental sent to me and I'm coming up with these melodies, that's what's really first is the melodies. And so I think that that is from my strength of singing is I can just kind of go into different ranges and come up with different ideas and then I make sense of the lyrics later. But sometimes it's hard to write songs because you want to figure out what the story is saying in these short syllable formats and you have to adjust. And so yeah, I would say my strength is definitely singing and writing is second. Yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
Understood. That's really great to hear. Although I'm very curious to know, like, when it comes to like writing a song, like, for me, I was thinking like, for me, the way how I thought when it comes to like, writing a song or writing a song for an artist, it's pretty much revolves around either what music did they make in their resume so far, what's the vibe or what's the message they want to like portray through just the melodies, because I feel like for a lot of these songs that have lyrics in them, they all began as instrumentals, and it's up to the vocalist and or the songwriter to add words into it. I feel like an example I can think of that I kind of want to understand a bit more about has to be, let's say, Willian, BLANKE, Annie Schindel, Remedy from the Pieces album. I'm just curious to know, like, for something like that, I would think Willian BLANKE would do the production, make the melodies. Maybe he would choose the title because maybe he's the one who said this song is gonna be called Remedy, and that's like, okay, I give that to the songwriter. Let's see if they can make something out of that. And it's like, remedy, medicine, hospital, virus, but it's how it probably had to work. I just want to hear more from you.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different case by case. Some producers have more involvement with, if they're building an album, say, and they have a specific concept that they're going for. But most of the time, well, I wouldn't say most of the time. There's a lot of cases where songwriters get together and do like writing camps, and that's where this song actually came from. We all got together and had different groups, and we ended up combining our groups that no one really planned for, but we ended up writing this song, and the original title was not Remedy. We went through a couple of lyric changes to get it right, but yeah, no, we wrote that and we sent it over. One of our friends who had a connection in that realm sent it over, and I think they had some suggestions of what could be better, and then that's how it happened.
That's how it happened. And now I want to like speak more about this. Since you mentioned the writing camps, I remember seeing like footage of that during season 1 of Songland, where a lot of you people went to writing camps, like collaborate with one another. It's how I imagine it. It's just like you, a group of songwriters or vocalists, and you're all in this one place. You spend a certain amount of time there, just working, trying to create songs. Like you speak out ideas. How would just give me like the BTS on this? How would a songwriting camp be or look like? Because this is coming from someone who doesn't really understand that much about it. So I'm asking the students. You are thy teacher. Explain it to me.
Yeah, so songwriting camps are typically, you have anywhere from 6 to 12 to 18, however many people that you want, and you separate into groups so that there's not 7, 8, 9 writers on one song. You'd be like 3 to 4 in a group max. You have a producer, you have some songwriters, you could even do 1 and 2, whatever you want for your ratio, but yeah, you just separate in groups and go into different rooms and write whatever you're feeling. Some people go for the acoustic guitar vibe. Some people go for, on piano, and some people have loops that they write to. And you kind of just vibe out and figure out what you want to write. And if depending on who's got things coming up, if you've got different artists in a room, they want to write for their project, or if they want to write for pitch for a DJ, it just kind of it's very loosely based. It's whatever everyone is agreeing to. And then at the end, you have however many days you do. You do like 5 days. You've got like, I don't know, 20 songs, maybe even more. Sometimes people do 2 day sessions, do in the morning and then do in the afternoon. And it's just a really fun way to cram in a lot of sessions, but in a way that's still spread out with, because you switch up groups and stuff like that. So you get different flavors with different people and get some really cool stuff. Yeah.
That is amazing to hear. And now I'm curious to know, is there like a different, obviously there's differences between that and one about the acts, but is there like the differences, should I say, maybe pros and cons of like, being in a songwriting camp, or let's say working with just a few people in a studio? Because you have said many times that like your home away from home is a really good studio. So is there a difference between the two, or do you prefer mostly like working, just getting some studio time in a really good professional studio and just making songs in that way?
I think it truly just comes down to the people that you're with. Like you can make magic in the car if you really want to. It just depends on like what kind of energies are in the room and what kind of ideas are flowing. If you have somebody who hasn't really done it as much and they're a little bit more timid, it's harder to pull ideas out, and that could be influenced by a big grand studio, and maybe, a bedroom might be better because it's more comfortable. I know that Billie Eilish and Phineas did like all of their stuff together, and they have said, big studios, or you don't have to have a big studio to make a great song. It just depends on what you put out that day and what's happening. And a lot of the times you write songs not because you want to write the specific song, but you have something to say that happened yesterday, or something that's on your mind, or whatever it is. But yeah, I think it really just comes down to the people. And but I will say a great view is a great view, and you can get a lot of inspiration for a great view.
Understood. So like a song can be birthed by just looking out the window. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm mistakenly saying, because you said a great view, so I'm thinking like, okay, maybe you can make something out of just seeing a great view. Sorry if I'm taking it literally.
No, absolutely. I mean, it kind of just depends on what the song is going to be. I mean, if something's a great view, I would say that it could be hopeful. If you're crammed in a space but you're loving the people, you could say maybe this is the best part of what I do, and it just changes the concept of what an idea could be.
Understood. That is amazing to hear. I really do appreciate that, like that concept and that vision of like pretty much creating songs. Again, coming from someone who doesn't really think about it that much, I'm more used to just like usually seeing producers, like I said, in the bedroom, of course, or just in a normal studio. Some people even just like have like makeshift studios, or just they will only have like one certain item to like record the voice and put it on the software, and then just like see if they can tweak it or like put it out just authentically. So there are different ways to do it, and there's no right or wrong way, of course, but it's really, like I said, depends all on you and just like what vision do you want.
Exactly. I will say having cool lights is a plus. It just adds a nice vibe.
Is that kind of one of the most crucial things for like a producer, for anyone? You need good lights.
You need good lighting. It doesn't even have to be like a crazy light situation, but an overlight is just not gonna get you inspired. You need a lamp.
Understood. Like a really good lamp.
Need a nice lamp. Yeah.
Understood. I get that. Although, let's be honest, that didn't stop you, because in a lot of your stuff, when you made covers, or like simple covers, really just for yourself, or just like short ones, you didn't really, the lighting, I didn't care about the lighting. It was still beautiful, and it was songs that like either inspired you. I mean, hello, example I can think of right off the bat, it didn't have good lighting, but everything else was amazing. Your little cover of Crashing by Illenium and Bahari.
Yep.
Lighting, but the vocals, oh yes. And I didn't care. I didn't care one bit. So that was So now I just have to ask is this. So with something regarding that, are there any songs or any like songs that vocal songs that like you listen to that like inspire you or they move you in a way? Because something like, let's say for example, something like Crashing, that was something that maybe you decided it was really beautiful, it was really good. The writing was pretty dang good in that song, so it was like, let me just sing it for the heck of it.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
any other song, just like go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think I actually told someone this recently. Anyone that's starting out and doesn't have any originals or just wants to be involved in whatever realm you want to be in, like start out doing covers that put you in that mindset of this is what I could be doing and this is what it feels like doing that. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, Illenium's one of my top. I would love to work with him, and I love that song so much. I think the writing is incredible. It's very dynamic, and the way that the vocal is very it's very soft spoken, and it kind of goes into this airy place, which is where I think my strengths are and where I kind of developed my strengths more because I liked it and I felt confident about it. But yeah, I think starting out and just doing covers that feel right for you is a great way of starting. And even taking a cover that, or like taking a song that doesn't sound like, okay, like take a song that's like rougher and making it softer. So giving it that contrast for your own creativity to envelop in it.
So what I mean by like saying like taking something rougher and then make it in something softer, is it like turning like taking like what like a rock song and like making it into like almost
Exactly.
like an acoustic or a strip song?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Take a rock song and make it a stripped ballad and see what happens because, that might open more doors for you for even to write your own stuff.
Understood. And I really do appreciate that, and I feel like a lot of people hopefully they can maybe use that to their advantage when it comes to doing covers or even just like starting to begin. I'm not saying someone like me would like to begin. I mean, I really do I love singing as well, but I feel like for someone like me, the covers is pretty much where I reside, and I want to use that to improve on my vocal talent if need be. And so many incredible artists I've listened to, vocalists I've listened to, have not only helped me out so much in ways I can't describe, but it helped me out like warm up, like practice my singing, practice my vocals, like see where I can improve on here and there. And that's why for someone like me, I give my absolute love, respect, and adoration to the vocalists out there in the world, because I feel like with so many songs out there in the world, and even in the industry, or even in the mainstream industry, like NBC Songland, The Voice, that type of thing, a lot of these songs would not have the type of weight or the type of punch if the vocalist did not step in and add their flair to it.
Right.
I feel like a lot of songs I would listen to would just not really work, and they wouldn't have that type of flair to it. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the DJs or the vocalists or producers, anyone who works in the studio who creates these sounds, creates these songs, are not to be thanked or to be welcomed, because they're talented as well. But they're just missing that little something that can really like take a song that's like maybe let's say a 7 and turn it into a 10.
Right.
And so that's really much all that I'm saying. That vocalists are people that deserve to be heard, deserve to be spoken, deserve to have the spotlight as well, just as much as the artists. Heck, vocalists are artists, but even though
Yeah.
you're just singing and you're just like writing things down, you are just as important as anyone else. That's why I believe it's a team effort.
It is a team effort. The people that are going to these shows and they're screaming these lyrics back, a lot of the times they think that it's just the producer that's doing it. And it's not the case. Mostly the vocalists, unless it's something that's written for the vocalist to sing, most of the time, 90% of the time, it's the vocalist who is also the songwriter, the vocal producer, the artist of it. And yeah.
So, are there any like vocalists or any vocalists that like really mean a lot to you, that you were inspired by, that maybe like made you want to start singing?
Yeah, I would say Julia Michaels was a huge influence for me. She's a huge songwriter. She wrote like for all of Justin Bieber's stuff and Selena Gomez. She wrote Sorry, she wrote like huge songwriter. But she also dabbled in the EDM scene, and she had some huge songs. Invincible by Borges.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible voice, and I loved her tone, and I wanted to I was very inspired by, I was very impacted by her emotional, but also like grittiness too. And I studied that. And also Billie Eilish was like a huge influence for me. I loved Adele growing up as well, and I wanted that like soulfulness in a way. Sarah Bareilles, but yeah, I feel like you just kind of listen and then you make your own influence. You know, you just take all these different things that you love and it becomes you, and you don't fight it. It's just it is you, you know?
Right. But with so many artists that you mentioned that really like inspired you or really like helped create the person that is Casey Cook, could there possibly I've seen some other artists maybe do this sometimes where they will just like choose the people who they really love, they really are inspired by, they would just do their own cover of that song and make it into an album. Could we have a Casey Cook cover album in the future?
You know, my dad has been wanting me to do that for so long.
Oh my gosh, we're just the same! We're the same wavelength! Thank you, Dad! Thank you, Dad! Dude, that's amazing. Okay, if he's saying it and I'm saying it, and like we're on the same wavelength here, what are you doing?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I hear you.
Who knows? That could be a pretty amazing thing to see in 2024. But again, I'm not Casey Cook. I'm not in your mind. I don't have your voice. 2024 is yours. You take it. You control it, and like you do with all the other years in the past. Because I just know whatever's going to be coming at Casey Cook is going to be absolutely freaking amazing. But that cover album, I'll be running to get that. I don't know if you're going to make any CD versions of it.
Know something?
Yes,
Do you
tell
want
me.
to know something funny? Every time I talk about doing covers because it inspires you, every time I would do a cover, I would get so inspired and I would write like 3 to 5 new ideas, and then I would go and execute those, and I would not finish the cover. So every time I would want to do a cover, I was like, I guess I'm a born songwriter because I'm still going, you know? So, but
Now I'm just curious to know what ideas came out when you were trying to cover Illenium crashing. Was it like
oh,
was it like what, inspired by like the story of that song or that type of thing, or how would the ideas like pop? Would it be like you would you would see the words, see the lyrics, and like this specific one lyric would be like, I can make a song out of that, and like turn it into an idea.
it's interesting. Well, I can't say for crashing, but I know off the top of my head, I was covering Disarm You by Kaskade.
Kaskade.
Love that song. And I was like, I want that kind of song. And I was playing it and I was just, you know, letting it marinate, I guess. And then a few days later, I went back and went to start playing it and played a different kind of chord progression, but still in the same sentiment of it. And I wrote Castle Walls.
So thanks to
Yeah,
Kaskade Disarm You, that birthed Castle Walls.
did. It absolutely did. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god! I'm sorry, but oh my god. Well, so
Yeah.
maybe we should put a little bit of credit there that the person who like helped break Castle Walls was Kaskade.
Yeah, I mean they're totally different songs, but it inspired the emotion and like I think the maybe the build of it. And I remember distinctly I wrote this song on my piano and then I just went to produce it. It was like one of the first songs that I vocal produced and wrote all by myself. And I put, you know, choirs and harmonies and just made it full and verby and cool. And I remember like listening back and I played it on my speakers and I was like, this is gonna be a song and I'm gonna do this. And I was like, please don't leave me in the dark. And I was like singing it and
Right.
felt I was gonna be on stage and doing it. And then that happened shortly after with Trivecta. And it was so cool. And I told him that moment happened. He was like, wow, that's cool.
Did you have that moment where like you would like
I
stand
did.
there and like you would see the
I
crowd
did.
singing along? It happened. I just want to
It
make sure.
happened.
I want to make sure it happened because I wish I could have been there to see that in the Way Back Up tour. That would be absolutely freaking incredible to witness one more time. Although I wish I could have seen it one more time because he didn't really play it in his recent set in New York. But hey,
Oh,
it was still an amazing time. I still loved it. I had a chance to meet him, and this is during when I was interviewing one of the other supporting artists. So it was an amazing night, and I would not trade it for the world. Even with or without Castle Walls, I still wouldn't trade it for the world. Although it would have made it a bit better. Just saying. But that is amazing to hear that a song like that, just by hearing how it sounds, hearing the words, "Let me disarm you," births something like that. So I'm just curious to know, have you tried covering songs from, like, let's say, for example, I'm guessing the Chainsmokers, since they did repost one of your songs on SoundCloud. That was pretty incredible.
that was so long ago.
So long ago, but again, they're still pretty legendary in the EDM scene, so I don't know if, like, will there be, like, a future cover, like, let's say, I don't know, Don't Let Me Down, Daya is pretty dang amazing too, so...
I do want to write a song like Don't Let Me Down. That's kind of a goal because that song is so good. Like, you know, the songs that just get old.
I know. I'll say this, though. When I first heard the song Don't Let Me Down by the Chainsmokers and Daya, I did like it, only when I didn't get to the drop. I'm sorry. I deeply apologize, but the way how it sounded to me was like... And it's like, I'm sorry. Like, right now, I feel, again, like I said, vocalists can make or break it. Daya, like, the Chainsmokers alone, it would have been meh, maybe even lower. Daya was the one who saved it and made it tolerable. So, yeah, like I said before, it's because of vocalists that can really make or break a song. However, thanks to Illenium remixing that song, I thought to myself, okay, now this is something I can actually enjoy, and it actually feels full. It actually feels like such a bigger thing. And with Daya, it absolutely it was like, oh my goodness, this is why I love remixes. This is why certain people who can remix a song, they can really make a song that's good and make it 10 times better. Yep. Why do you think like that particular remix possibly has more views than the original?
Yep. Do you know the story of The Middle with Zed and Gray?
Zed and Skylar Grey?
No, Gray.
Yes.
The duo.
They're a duo?
Yeah.
Well, you learn something new every day. Tell the story.
No, they went through like over 100 vocalists.
100 for the middle.
For the middle, and they landed on Maren Morris, but like Ariana Grande was in the mix, Demi Lovato, I think there was so many top artists, vocalists, and they were looking for that right sound to match the demo, and they found it with Maren Morris, and it's one of the biggest songs.
It is, most definitely, but come on, I mean, Ariana Grande, why are you joining in that? You already had your shine with Break Free. Let someone else have a piece. Love you, Ariana, but please, come on. But yeah, Maren Morris, happy that they chose them to like really elevate that song in the middle. And I feel like so many other artists out there that we see all the time. Although, I'm not going to say, I'm not trying to hate, again, I'm giving my love to the vocalists, I'm trying to hate on them, or even the mainstream people. But I feel like with people like you existing, which I'm so grateful for, we need people like you to be more up in the forefront. And because I feel like a lot of these artists that we're seeing, it seems like, again, maybe this is tying back to, like you said, that the industry can be gruesome. The industry can be kind of unfair because it seems like we're having the same type of people over and over and over again. I love Daya. She killed it in Don't Let Me Down, killed it in Feel Good with Griffin and Illenium, but we don't have so much Daya. BB Rexa. I loved her in the Name of Love. I loved her in Call You Mine. But again, kind of going old a bit. And even for so many others out there that we see, like, out of the 100 vocalists they chose for the middle, were they all, like, big-time artists already?
Yeah, some of them were like top artists.
A majority of them big time artists, not like any like smaller ones that gave their own cover, gave their own twist to the middle or anything like that. You can't really recall.
Can't recall.
No,
I gotta
okay.
do it more, but I think it was just like, they went through a string of incredible vocalists that are well known and
Well known.
yeah.
Okay, understood. And hey, that's just how it is in the industry sometimes. And I just wish, I wonder how the middle would sound like if someone like you stepped to the plate. How would it sound like if someone like you had that chance in the spotlight? Someone that no one really ever heard before, but they just said, you know what? We'll take her and see how it goes. And it could also be it could be the next big hit. But that's why I really appreciate other artists in the industry who are, yeah, they're big, but not like no big, and giving them the chance. I still am so grateful. I feel like perfect example I could think of off the bat. Like you worked with them, you've seen them before in Red Rocks. Again, full circle moment. 2015, you took a picture of Red Rocks, said, it'll be amazing if I could be on that stage, play a song from the speakers at stage. And then years later said the Sky played one of your songs on the Red Rock stage. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Full circle moment, and you deserved that moment wholeheartedly. But Set the Sky, I'm so happy for someone like him, who's also giving some love to the smaller artists, the smaller bands, because it was thanks to the album Sentimental, or is it Sentiment, where I've heard about certain artists that I would have not listened to before. I mean, for perfect example, you know him, you love him, Jack Newsom.
Oh my gosh, my friend. I love Jack.
His song, I believe he was in the song Hold My Own, I believe.
Yes.
That was the one. You have no idea how much I really love seeing him. I saw him live when he was
Oh, nice.
in NYC when they showed him. They brought Oliver the Kid. They brought Jack Newsom. It was like it was almost like a duet of, I believe, Hold My Own and Move with Purpose. And oh my gosh, amazing. He killed it. Absolutely destroyed it. And I would never know about him thanks to the Sky. I would have not known about him. I would have known about who was that? Dang it! Who was that artist? It was his favorite song on the album. It was Eternal Blue. I don't know if like Motion to the soundtrack. I'm not sure. But that was the one song that blew me the freak away, and I did never know about them until now.
Yeah.
I can't.
State.
Wait, yes, that's it. Now it's coming back to me. It's coming back to me because I think it was called City Chance. But again, all these artists, all these bands, they did their thing on that album, and thanks to them, I'm fans of them. And that's the beauty of an artist like Set the Sky bringing that type of vocalists who are not well known and giving them a shot. It just takes one pretty huge artist to give them a shot and let people know they deserve to be heard. They deserve to be sung on so many more songs. And I'm so happy people like you, like people like WOOLI, Codico, and so many others gave you that chance. NBC gave you that chance. So people can know who Casey Cook truly is. And I wish that more artists out there, big time artists, can give that shot.
I agree. I think that one of the biggest things is people are afraid to take a risk, and what that risk looks like. Is it reward, or is it going to set them back? And I think more people need to take those risks because there's hungry people out there that want that chance. And it just takes, is like you said, it just takes one.
And I feel like I say this a lot to so many big time artists, even the EDM industry, that this, for someone like me, I absolutely love to shine light on the little people out there, the little artists who don't really have that much of a following, and like at least let them know someone's hearing them, someone's appreciating what they're making, because it's we're not gonna have Excision all the time. We're not gonna have Seven Lions all the time. We're not gonna have Subtronics all the time. We're not gonna have Illenium all the time. Someone's gotta step up to the plate and be next. They're gonna. It's just a part of life. They're not gonna do anything forever. They're not gonna be here forever. Someone has to be the next generation. So I just feel like I'm happy to know that there are people out there that are places out there, collectors out there, places being made to let them have the spotlights. However, I feel like the mainstream art industry has got to do the same. Because I just feel like there's so many people out there who we see. I'm very glad for shows like Songland, The Voice, American Idol, that type of thing. But I just feel like we need more people like that. Who will be the next Carrie Underwood? Who will be the next Kelly Clarkson? Those type of people who we see now in the mainstream and in the limelight, because they're gonna run their course one way or another. We gotta do like maybe one more season. Actually, whoever wins American Idol, whoever wins The Voice, we see them more. Because why do you think America voted?
Right.
Because we want more. That's all I'm saying. So I feel like there has to be something out there. It has to be the next wave out there, and I hope that I will see that in the future. Because I love these people now, but who's next? That's all I'm asking. Just who's next? And I believe one of those people who will be next, of course, is you. No matter what. I mean, you got that little spotlight there. Oh my goodness. To see you be on The Voice, because it's still happening now, that would be freaking insane.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever imagined maybe being on like something like that, because Songline was a pretty amazing experience for you. Like, you talked about it over and over and over again. It was amazing. I don't need to ask any questions. It was amazing. But would you mind doing something like that, something higher like that again? Or you probably wouldn't.
I've tried out for The Voice a few times. I've gone for like the private audition even. I went straight to the, but I didn't have a story. I think a lot of these shows is based on the story.
Yep,
and I didn't have anything wrong. No.
I'm laughing because how many times have we seen that over and over again on TV?
No, it's true. I mean, that's really exposing these shows, but it's about the story a lot.
It's about the sad story bringing in the ratings.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There is some impeccable talent on these shows, and they don't vet them. They don't vet them improperly, but it is a big part is having a story to connect to.
I mean, for me, it's like this. Why can't the story just simply be, I was inspired by this show, I was inspired by these artists, nothing bad happened to me, I didn't break an arm, I didn't lose my voice, I don't have cancer, I just want to just be the next person to at least shine my light on there, and whatever stories come out, then that's what will come out. Because it seems like a lot of the stories you're telling, they're not Hollywoodized, they're not like blown up so big, they're just simple things that seemingly happen within your lifetime, and you think about that. Yep. And I don't think, and now it seems like for these producers, for these people working in these shows, it's like, is that not enough? Are you not entertained?
Exactly. Are you not entertained?
What do you want me to do? Shave my head? Like should I lose an eye and then that's how it gets attention? Votes? I
know. Trust me, you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, but sadly, is there really a choir to preach to right now? I'm in my bedroom, for crying out loud. But anyway, again, I'll make sure I speak my truth. But that's why for someone like me, I just stop watching them. If you stop watching them, the ratings gonna go down type of thing. If you don't like something, don't watch it. And hopefully when you see in the background they're trying to get better and actually focus on what made them pretty great in the beginning, then okay, amazing. Why do you think people don't really pay attention to America's Got Talent? Come on. Yeah. I feel like I'm not trying to say this person didn't deserve the attention and the love they deserved, but the recent biggest winner that I see all the time, I can't remember his name, but I just know he had a condition. It was a severe condition. I think it was a bit of autism. He had a person carry him to the piano, that type of thing. I don't know his name. I remember his face, and I think a lot of people remember his voice. His audition absolutely destroyed it. Just him singing a song for you. I think he got the golden buzzer for it, and it was like straightforward. The perfect sob story, the perfect voice, playing a piano, golden buzzer. On your way to Las Vegas immediately.
Yep.
And that's all it took, and he took it to stardom. Lucky him, good for him. Where will we find that type of person again?
Right.
That's all I'm saying. But again, that to me is something that I believe in the mainstream industry needs to change. We really, believe it or not, we really do want to see originality. We really do want to see people just like really pour their heart out, not just for the wrong reasons or the sad reasons, but just because they enjoy it. They love it. They're not doing it to chase the bag, not doing it for the clout, not doing it for popularity. They're just doing it because they love it. And that's why for someone like me, if I can like lead by example and show people that you can just do so many incredible things just because you love it so much, because it makes you feel good, it makes you feel happy. That's all that matters. Someone like you, you've been wanting to do this for a very long time. Sing ever since you were on theater, ever since you were in college, ever since you graduated from college. You graduated college, right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure. You graduated college, and then right off of that, 2014, you were kind of stepping your toe in there. 2015, you took it seriously. 2016 is when it started to really grow and blow up. 2019, it was Songland. Now 2021, 2022, EDM industry, being on the stage, WOOLI, Codico, and even now, you are still growing to such incredible heights, being featured on Monster Cat, my dream, not dream label, but like the label that got me into EDM, but also got me into BLANKE, so many incredible artists, so many genres, so many styles. It's all of that, I believe, wasn't just for any attention or followers or money. It was just all because you loved it, you wanted to make it into something more, and you did it. And you are still doing it, and that's something that deserves to be heard. I'm sorry, but to me, that is a story. That, to me, is something that I feel like more people should hear, because if you're just doing it for a simple thing that's like materialistic or not really mattering, they're gonna go away because it's not strong enough. You gotta really show it with your face, show it with your heart, show it with your voice, show it with your passion that you really want this because you love it so much and you're never gonna let it go.
Yeah.
Why do you think someone like me, I feel like for someone like me, EDM saved my life. EDM was one of those things that I feel like is like one of the big reasons why I'm even here right now breathing.
No way.
And I'm not lying to you. There are so many artists out there that I wish I could meet and I could just tell them thank you, because your music is the reason why I'm not dead right now. I told that to so many artists out there. I remember one time last year, I said it to one of my favorite artists, Virtual Riot, who left such a huge impact on the EDM industry. I just told him, no picture, no nothing, I just told him thank you. I just hugged him and said, you're the reason why I'm here right now, because of your music you made in 2012, 2013, and that is the reason why I'm standing here right now before you. I just want to tell you thank you. I told it to AU5, who was a huge impact on Monster Cats. I told him, you're the reason why, one of the reasons why I live or die, because of your music. I told it to artists, I told it to vocalists, I tell it to so many people out there who I interviewed and talked to via Zoom, via IRL. They are the reason why. The least I can do is at least tell people this directly and tell them that what you're doing is something that's worthwhile. It's not something that's waste. I'm sorry, I'm getting goosebumps.
I have so many chills right now. It's all over my body.
It's just that I'm just being brutally honest, and I tell this to so many labels, so many artists out there, because they're the reason why I'm still here right now. And I don't say it lightly. I'm not saying it just for attention. No, because music is that powerful. Voices are that powerful. It means so much to people out there, for people like me who just wants to show that appreciation. And I didn't think I would get any type of attention or talk to so many people. I've done I think almost 60 interviews so far in the past 2 years, 2.5 years. And for it to get me this far, just solely out of passion and solely out of just me wanting to express my love to these people, for them to give me that opportunity, for them to give me that chance, that is something that I say thank you. It's something I don't take for granted. And I didn't want it, I didn't deserve it, but I said, you know what? I feel good. I love giving gratitude. I love telling people that you are amazing and you should keep on doing this, because when they're happy, it makes me feel happy. Knowing that I'm brightening up their day and letting them know their music, their song is being heard by someone who cares, who truly, truly cares. It's not for the camera. It's not for views. It's not for followers. It's not for money. It's not for anything like that. All I want is for them to know you're doing great. Never stop. And that's it. That's it.
And we appreciate you tenfold. Like, you've no idea how much that means to artists, to songwriters, to vocalists, to DJs. Like, that is why we do it. The industry itself is so baffling and daunting, and it's the reason that we keep going is because we're doing something to make a difference. I think, at least that's what's in my heart, and I know a lot of my friends feel the same way. So
right, and I don't want you guys to think that, oh, I think I'm making a difference. I think I'm doing something worthwhile. I'm here to tell you, I know, and I believe in your heart, you know too, because I'm telling you directly in front of your face, you are doing something that's amazing, something that's worthwhile. I want to be that reminder to let people know that you are doing something. I wish I could just tell everyone that, whoever is growing or emerging, thinking, is it really all worth it? I'm here to tell you it is, because people like me have been impacted by people who are just like you in the past. You're doing something worthwhile. So don't think that you're doing something, If you say the word think, to me, it tells me you still doubt yourself. You're still thinking, am I really doing this? No! Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, what I'm doing is making someone happy. What I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I'm speaking to the crowd is something that's worthwhile. And it's something that you should never stop doing. If it makes someone feel happy, if it can save someone's life, then it matters. All it takes is one person to touch their heart. All it takes just one person to hear your song and tell you that your music just made my day. Your music, your song, your voice made me fill my heart with joy. And that is the true type of feeling. That's the true type of thing any artist should want to hear and understand.
Amen. Amen.
And that's why I'm so happy and honored that I'm able to do stuff like this and tell bands, tell artists, tell people like you, tell vocalists like you that you are one of those people who have not only filled my heart with joy, but I know with your voice, with your passion, not only are you saving lives, not only are you just putting yourself out there in the world, but you're also inspiring the next generation. I know there are going to be people out there, people like you, who will say, if she can do it, why can't I? If they can do it after going through so much of this, so much of that, so much of BS through the industry, why can't I? Yeah. I mean, my inspirations regarding doing stuff like this has been people like I watch MTV, I watch news interviews, I watch podcasters, I've watched people like Lizzie Jane or Will Joy. I thought if they can do it, why can't I? I may not have any music, I may not have much of a voice, I may not have done so much in the industry, but it doesn't mean I can't start doing something. And I've been doing this for over 2 years, and I believe not, and I'm not stopping now, because when I look back and see the smile on their faces, them knowing that me doing the research, me really caring and seeing how much I know about them, they're like, how do you know that? How do you remember they did this for me? Because you are C.C Cook. We got to know. How did I know that Chainsmokers reposted one of your songs? You are C.C Cook. We need to know. The world needs to know. I want to make sure that whoever interviewed you in Songland, I outdo them tenfold, because they have a time limit. They have this, they have that, they have other people they got to interview. No, this is me and you talking and learning about what makes C.C Cook C.C Cook.
Wow.
and that's something that I take to heart, and that's something I don't half-ass it. I don't, because
No.
if I did, then that would just be the biggest middle finger to you. And the last thing I want to do is put these fingers down. I want nothing less of this, more of this. We don't want this, we want these. And that's what I'm giving you. 2 thumbs up. If I had more thumbs, I would raise them all up right now. But I'm all out of thumbs. But, dude, thank you. Know what you're doing is amazing. Know what you're doing is incredible. And please spread this message to everyone else out there. Because I feel like there are so many other songwriters out there who are writing songs. May not be reaching the same level as you, but they're amazing. They're also talented. They're also incredible. They're singing. They're writers out there who are just as important to the industry, who are just as important to bringing music and all this stuff to us, the fans, to us, the people. You guys are doing something amazing, and I feel like more people need to hear that. I want to lessen people thinking that they think. I want them to say they know that I'm doing something. I want to be the person who erases that doubt in their mind.
I love that. I think I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I know that you are doing that. I know that you are making a difference. I mean, just talking to you today and hearing all that you have researched about me and have gotten all your facts straight, and just your attention to detail is so, it's so considerate, you know, it's so respectful of the work that I've put into my career. And for you to notice the little details that I forgot about means the absolute world. So I really appreciate you taking the time to go down my discography like that, and to just show so much appreciation for what I do and for what we do as artists and creators, you know?
And that's what you guys do. Creators create. Someone's just got to be, there has to be an audience for those creators. And there's an audience for you. There soon will possibly be an audience for me. And we just continue on. The least I want to do is just be there on the sidelines, whether up in the balcony, whether in the front row, just seeing just greatness be exuberated from you. Just like how it was when I saw you with Newport with your Gravity. When I knew that song was gonna be playing it, I was like, oh, be ready for this, and just cherish the moment. And I did. I wholeheartedly did, and I know there's gonna be more moments like that for you in the future. It was, hello, you already stepped your foot on the Red Rock stage, even though just for a little bit you were there. You were there, not just in the crowd, but you were there, and that's something that I want to reach for, if possible, in my life. I'm doing all this not only just like show that I truly care, but I want to let people know that there's someone out there who's really listening, who really understands, who is truly being considerate to the artists out there who are creating all this stuff. Because it's so simple. It's so simple for me to just go on my phone, go through IG, just find like one of your posts, one of your songs, and just be like, this song is fire, post. So simple to do that. It takes so much more for someone to be like, no, I want to see what else they have. And not only me just like, just saying it, I want to show it. I want to truly express it. A lot of the songs that I've listened to that I really loved, you can find a dance somewhere in the interverse of me just rocking out to it, because that's how much it means to me. When Sad Reality first dropped, I learned every single word for word, bar for bar, and studied the song from front to back. I think one of the comments you wrote down was literally like, wow, he really knows every bit of it. It's like, yes, because I love it so much, because I truly care. I got so many comments with certain songs being like, wow, he's singing this better than I am. He's rapping this better than I am, because I care. I listen, I read, I understand. I want to truly understand what's going on with all these artists and why they're putting this song, these stories out to the world. Someone's got to listen. Someone's got to care. Might as well be me. Let me be the leader for that.
I love that. We need more of you.
Thank you. I get that a lot, but the way and people think and people ask me like sometimes like, oh, what's the secret? How do you get this type of attention? Like, some people are jealous that I'm like, no, being on stage, like side stage, watching these artists, and it's like, how did you get up there? How did this artist know you? it's not rocket science. It's just me being me and expressing stuff and expressing who I am and giving love to these people. That's all it was. There was no secret path I took to get on the stage. There is no like connections I was making. Well, I am making connections here and there with a lot of people, but it's all tied down to one thing as foundation: passion and love, and that's it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people who I talked to, who I interviewed stuff, is like, how did you get this person to talk to them? This big person is like, all I had to do was ask. All it took was just me going on their SoundCloud, scrolling through her info, finding that management email, clicking on that, writing a detailed email of why I want to interview them, and then boom. Yeah. But here's the thing, with me doing all that stuff, I'm just grateful for the opportunities that came my way, because you're going to get a lot of no's. And I feel like someone like you can really understand that. The industry, there's going to be a whole lot of no's. You're going to get no after no after no after no after no. But all it takes are those few yeses that mean the world. And yes. In 2022, I remember when I first really started going headstrong in this, I got a whole lot of no's. I think I went to I sent about 50 something no emails. A lot of them are either no's or I was left on red. Mm-hmm. But almost 50% of them were yeses. So those yeses I took, I cherish, and I pushed forward. And I said, when I get that yes, it's like, okay, it's one step closer to me showing people that I truly do care and I'm not just faking it. And I cherish them with passion. I make sure I put them out there if possible and let them know that this is something that means the world to me. And I would not trade it for anything else. I'm not doing it for anything else other than just me being there to see it, to witness it, to cherish it. And I just want to be there for the moment and let them know that there's someone out there who's looking at you, who's seeing you, and who's thinking in his mind, yes, they are the future.
Thank you.
And you are next in that line. I said, I sorry for me repeating myself and sound like a broken record, but I say it over and over again. You are the future. You are the future. You are the future. You are the... Sorry, my fault. But you get the point.
Yeah. Thank you. I feel it. I honestly feel it. I believe that whatever you put out there and you have good energy towards, it's only a matter of time.
And again, it's so cliche to hear that lesson. I don't know if your father told you that as well, but whatever you give out is what you get back. You give, you're surrounding yourself with negative people, what you're gonna get? Negativity. When you surround yourself with positive people who lift you up, who want to challenge you, what do you get? You get positivity and, most importantly, results.
Exactly.
It's all about people you're around. And I feel like you can obviously relate to that because, again, the songwriting camps, people who you may have not known before, they're strangers, but you're surrounded by people who love this art, who love what they're creating, what they're doing, and you have nothing but respect for them. But it's like, you know what? Let's make our groups, go in these certain rooms, and be surrounded by people who love and care about what they do, and see what can be created out of it. It's people coming together to create something even larger.
Right.
And that's the power of people being surrounded by the right people.
Yep.
And I just hope that with what I'm doing, the right people will see me or at least acknowledge me, and that's all I can ask for. And who knows 100%. and who knows what can grow from that.
100%.
And that's that's not just the music industry. It's not just the EDM industry. That's just life. It's all about the people that you're around and the connection that you make. It's believe it or not, it's simply put as networking. That's basically all that is. But it's all about networking with the right people and letting them see who you are. And I hope that with what I say, what I do, especially for 2024, I keep achieving that if one way or another.
Exactly. My dad always said, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Oh
my gosh. So that's the quote. I keep thinking, I hear that sometimes here and there. It's parodies. So the quote is, show me your friends, and now show me your future.
Yeah.
That is so good!
It's just about what you surround yourself with. I mean, it's not even just friends, it's what you watch, it's what you listen to, it's what you're absorbing. You know, who is the person that you are enveloping to be? Who are you trying to become? And what does that look like? And what is that life? And be that person already and watch it your life, you know?
I gotta make sure I write that in my journal, because no. I have a journal that I write. I write something. I try to write a wonderful thing every single day. Obviously, of course, I'm writing this down, but I want to make sure I mark that down like in my notes, which is the quote. Maybe you can type it in the chat, so that way I don't forget. It's show me your friends, that'll show me your future. I want to make sure.
Your friends. Show me your friends. I'll show you your future.
I keep, but although, out of curiosity, why do they say I'll show you your future? Because I keep thinking maybe it's like, no, with the friends you're around, they will show your future. Because it's them who are influencing you.
That too.
Because I would feel like, I feel great, now I feel like my parents, and I feel like, okay, like when my kids ask me, like, you know, like, can I hang out with this person? Or like, no, can I be with these people? And it's like, sure, just show me them first, and I'll give you an answer. So let me see them, let me talk to them, and see if that'll be a future. If they're gonna jeopardize the future or lead you to a place where I don't think is gonna be good, then the answer is no. It's not me, it's the people. So get yourself with the right people, and then I'll say yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
I will. Sometimes you go down those roads and you meet certain people because you have to find something that you've been fighting with yourself, and they're actually a reflection of that in your own personal life, and you have to heal that part of yourself, and you won't heal that part of yourself until you go through those hard paths. And I've learned that the hard way, for sure. And it just makes you stronger. And it's hard to look at it in the moment and say, why? What is this? This is terrible. But then you learn that it was teaching you something all along.
Right. Or like something that my stepdad tells me sometimes, which is look yourself as an anatomy of yourself and see what like led to this point of that hardship, of those hard times. Because when you look back and say like, okay, how did this happen? How did this happen? And then you get to that one step, that one moment in time where it's like, okay, this is where it kind of derailed. Now is where it's like, okay, that's where I messed up. For next time, that will be what I fix.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'll make sure I remember to this day. Like a lot of the things that happened in my life, I took a lot more time to really think about. Okay, I'm at this point because of this. So what would happen if this was differently, and what can I do to prevent that? I feel like for me, regarding the whole EDM thing and me being with so many artists and talking to so many artists, I learned, believe it or not, is that it's a lack of the childhood I had when I was younger. Because I knew, with me being who I am, as a loud, black, large man, which is kind of, you can kind of say, sadly rare in the EDM industry, that definitely needs to change. Someone like me, I was an only child, and I had to be like older. I couldn't really be much of a child. I had so many adult like responsibilities at such a young age. So you can kind of say throughout, like, after I graduated high school and I started going through college, it was during that moment in time, those few years, where I was kind of reliving my childhood without me even knowing it, just in a different way. Without like if it wasn't like no Disney and all that stuff and all that jazz on TV, the childhood in me, the child part of me was through the music, through going through shows, being like up on the stage, like, you know, looking and seeing the audience type of thing. That to me was me starting to build my own like inner young adult childhood. So it was me trying to fill something that was, I believe, was lost. And so I was doing it in my own way. However, I wasn't just going through it in my own way or going through my own childhood. No, I was also, without me knowing it, building opportunities for myself. Opportunities that I believe will propel me to something bigger and better, and something that could be a life changer for me. Right now, in the industry or in the community, the one thing I want to do so bad is be like an MC. Be like someone who will shout out the little guys out there. Throughout looking through my resume, looking through all the videos I've made, there's one thing I know I have. It's passion, it's energy. An energy that knows no bounds. The first thing people say when they see me on stage is that you have this incredible energy. I remember me being in one of the shows, like being in one of the booths, and people were noticing me, and they were like, dude, because of you, I had such an amazing time just watching you go off and really enjoy the artist. So I see the gift in me. I see the blessing in me. And it's something that I do not take, I don't take for granted at all. However, if I had that much energy to give just by me moving and grooving and dancing and loving the music, imagine how much my energy can really give out if I'm able to announce who will be next on stage and really scream their name and let people know this is who they have to see next. This is who is the future. That to me would be a golden opportunity moment for me to really let people know this is someone you need to see, you need to appreciate because they're next. I did it a few times for certain shows last year. I hope I can do it again this year because there are so many artists out there who deserve love, who deserve the spotlight, and I want to be the man who will announce their name and give it to them.
Hell yeah. I love that.
However, but here's the thing, I feel like I might be the first to maybe try this out because I was just looking around my environment, seeing something that I believe is missing, and thought, you know what? Let's see if I can fill in that missing thing, if just for a little bit, and be like an asset to the community. And from what I see from the footage I captured, it's looking pretty dang good. May not be too much, but it's looking pretty good, and I want to continue that. Bring something new to the table that no one really thought of.
We need that. We absolutely need that.
And so that's just what I want to do, and hopefully I can really achieve more of that in 2024. I can only imagine if I get myself, if I can, announce certain artists, in a festival, that would be amazing. If I can announce certain people at something like Lost Lands, that would be legendary for me. Being a person, either on any stage, or even the freaking prehistoric stage, and announcing these next artists on stage, just in doing this, that alone, then introduce something like Decision on the stage. Oh my gosh, that would be freaking amazing.
Hey, you know what? Do it.
Definitely, I really do. I want to try, and I've started doing that because I did a thread where I was announcing all these artists who are on the lineup, the little guys to the big guys, and a lot of people who were responding was like, they really loved it, they really appreciated it, and people were like, yo, Lost Lands, can we get this person to be the announcer for Lost Lands?
Yeah.
I'm making connections without me even knowing it. It's just out of fun, but it can grow into something so much more, and that's how a lot of people's starts begin.
Absolutely. Yeah, it just starts with imagining it and then executing a plan around it.
And sometimes, and sometimes the plan is not completely clear because there's no set plan for anything. Like for someone like you in your career, there was no set plan. It all was just, I want to do this, I envision myself doing this, and I'm just going to do it.
I think you just follow the spark, whatever that spark is for you. It doesn't have to be a set plan. It just has to be a spark. And then you follow that. That's honestly your intuition. And your intuition is your higher version of yourself. And that's what's leading you. And if you just trust that, man, it's a freaking fun time. It's a fun time.
It may not be easy, but the fun will definitely come out of it one way or another.
And it'll be rewarding because you know that you're doing the path that is lighting up for you.
Right.
You know?
Understood. Yeah. And that's something I'll definitely that intuition within me, I'll make sure I follow it. I'll make sure I definitely appreciate it. Even if I feel like it's gonna lead me astray, I'm still gonna I'm still gonna trust it. And that's something that even my parents would tell me, even my stepdad would tell me, that is the spark within you, the energy within you, that's something you cannot ever let die. Because if you get defeated, if you lose that, then you'll be pretty much nothing but a hollow shell.
Yeah.
So you have to keep it burning bright. Find ways to keep it burning and keep that spark riding. Because if you lose it, then it's like you're losing a part of yourself. And you know how like people say like, no, it's hard. It's easy to like, no, feel defeat. It's easy to get all this negativity in you. It's easy to gain weight. Hard to lose it. If you lose a spark, I feel it's going to be insanely harder to gain it back again.
Yeah.
Because you have to go. Because people go through such a long time to truly find themselves and be like, who am I truly? The first person I can think of that went through that was Porter Robinson. He went through such a huge hiatus after Worlds, after 2015, after Shelter, and then it took almost like 6-7 years for him to come back, a new person, a new artist, finding a new style, a new type of music, and then birthing Nurture. And that's a story I look at a lot, and I read over and over again, because what he was going through, what he was feeling, is something that we all have felt. Maybe not as huge as him, because he was propelled to the spotlight pretty early on, ever since 2011, but it took so long for him to really find his roots and be like, okay, I want to make this now. This is what's making me feel happy. And he showed it to the world, for better or for worse, whether people liked it or not.
Yeah.
It was just, it was a new version of him. And I was all for it.
Yeah.
So that spark will never leave. If I have to find myself, no, okay, fine. But it won't be easy. But I just know that every year, every time I will try and discover more of myself, it's gonna be worth it. Maybe not take don't take 7 years, but it's gonna definitely be worth it.
Yes.
And with that, hopefully, I sincerely deeply appreciate the talk and learning more about you, Casey Cook, and hearing more of these life lessons, just me speaking a bit and just like understanding that the best is yet to come. Griffin reference. The best is yet to come for 2024 for me and most definitely for you.
2024 is going to be big. It's going to be big for you, for me, for so many people who have just been crafting their worlds. I feel like it's just going to erupt this year, no holding back. Everyone's learned from 2020 and has gained new skills and new talents and built their team or whatever it is, and they're just ready to go. And I think there's no time like the present. So here we go.
Well, I mean, Illenium said it best. No time like now.
Exactly. There it is.
Awake, the second album. And here's the thing: no matter what you're thinking about, what you're trying to do, when you ask yourself when is it a good time? I mean, you do talk about it's all about certain the timing of certain things, but
sure.
What better time than now to take that risk, to take that chance?
Yeah, and if you're waiting for things to line up, what can you do in the meantime to prepare for that moment? If someone hands you the golden opportunity that you've been looking for and you're not prepared for it, then it's not the right opportunity. But if you're prepared for it, you could step into that role, Or you can also do it afraid and figure it out, and that also works well too. There's no real right or wrong. It's just whatever feels right.
Right. I don't know if your dad said this quote as well, that you fail to prepare means you're preparing to fail.
There it is.
And that cannot be any more truer. So for this year, for whatever opportunities come our way, let's prepare so we can get those golden opportunities in our life.
Exactly.
Casey Cook, thank you so much. It's an absolute honor to finally meet you yet again. Hopefully next time won't be 2 more years, but hopefully on that stage. Again, Casey Cook, thank you so much for everything, and thanks so much for talking to me on my birthday. I really do sincerely appreciate it, though I really sincerely do.
I sincerely appreciate you and taking the time to really dive into what I've done and what I'm doing, and just be appreciative of what we do as creators and artists. So many, 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 many thanks to you, and big things to come.
Most definitely. Thank you so much again. Please keep on working, keep on writing. Know there's someone out there in your corner there for you always.
Thank you.
Thank you.